Hi everyone, and I'm here again with my lovely friend Jennifer Connelly. Now, if you've looked at some of the interviews before, I have interviewed Jennifer before about her working with soul fertility, working with mums and mums to be, people who are struggling perhaps to have the family they wish for, hope for, dream of. And she uses reflexology to do this. So Soul Fertility is the name of her company, and I'm sure that if you have a look back, you'll go and find out more about that. But there's another aspect to Jennifer which I love, and I think it shows a very warm aspect to her personality. So I'm really bigging you up here, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm really good, yes, on this beautiful Sunday morning, and looking forward to chatting about what we're chatting about.
Well, I know that you work very intimately with women's emotions and their partners, and it's quite physically intimate too. So I'm fascinated that this warmth then exudes over so that you create things for your clients and you have this talent. And sometimes I just get fascinated by what else people do, and you are multifaceted. So let's just briefly say how you got into, explain to the audience how you got into reflexology and working with fertility, and then we'll find out a bit more.
Well, obviously, a lot of people get into the things that they do because of their own experiences. I did experience a lot of infertility slightly later in life, but I was already a reflexologist, and I have been now for 30 years. But when I experienced my fertility journey, I started to experience going down that fertility journey, I explored a lot more with reflexology what it can do. So I then specialized, and obviously working with my hands, I adore. I've been making clothes since I was very little. I learnt to crochet watching a friend of mine when I was 12, 13. And I've just done something with my hands ever since. I find it very therapeutic. Obviously, working with my hands as well, but the making of things is just going off on a slightly different tangent, if you like.
And do you normally, or previously, did you create things out of your imagination? Were you always crafty?
I'm
Did you
not particularly
experiment with
good
that?
with my own imagination, but I've always been crafty. I make my own quilts, which is I'm laying on one at the moment. You can't see it, and I make obviously knit jumpers and all of that sort of thing. Um, when I see something I like, I then go and find a pattern or whatever for it, or I'll get an idea for it, and that's basically where it's come from. It's creating. So
Mm.
I'll show you one of my blankets that I've made. I do two patterns at the moment, but I have tried others. And this is a pink one.
Oh,
And they're
that's
just so lovely and soft and snuggly. And I know my great nieces have got one that I made many years ago. So I do all different colours now. So that's I call a waffle one. And
yeah.
that's, you can see
I
the
can
design of that one.
almost feel the texture of it.
Yeah, yeah. And this is a peach one, but it's actually got a
Oh,
shell pattern on it.
oh
So
yeah.
again,
That.
you can
Yes.
just about see the shell.
Yeah.
But what's nice with these handmade blankets, I call them, well, they are handmade.
Yes.
Um, I sit of an evening and I just lose myself in doing them because I find them very
Mhm.
therapeutic. But also they are so soft, and
Mm.
because crocheting is really good for blankets, I found, because they can breathe. Children
Yeah.
don't get, or babies don't get over hot. The holes in them also actually traps the heat, but also lets it out. It's multifaceted. It's really clever.
Yeah.
Um, and these ones are like crib blankets. And then I do little pram ones as well. So yeah. And the
Yes.
other heirloom side of things that I do is I take baby grows, kids baby grows,
Oh
and
yeah.
I cut the patterns out. Um, these are some other one. These are odd ones that are left over that I've sewn together to make a specific square, and they've
Uh-huh.
all got different patterns on. And what happens is I
Yeah.
sew them all together and make a quilt for that child. So obviously the parents collect them over a couple of years, and then I put them all together and make a quilt for them. So it's a um
Mm.
single bed size. So it's again something that they use. I've got a couple of clients where they've got one for the daughter, one for the son, and they're all specific to them, because obviously it's their baby grows. And then what I do, actually, you can't see the pattern on this, but I actually hand quilt around all of the
Oh,
little patterns. So
really? Oh,
on this one, I would hand quilt around some of the big circles or some of the
amazing.
bright coloured circles to actually do the quilting. And obviously this one I would have hand quilted around the dog
Oh, that's
and
lovely.
the little animals.
Very
So that,
meaningful, though, aren't they?
oh,
Very mean.
absolutely. And I say every time I've given a quilt to a particular client, they've burst into tears because
Yeah.
this one particular client, she actually remembers every baby grow. So,
Oh,
and I absolutely adore it. It takes a long time and they're not cheap by any means,
no,
but
no.
they take me about 3 months to do. But I really enjoy doing them. I find it
Yeah.
very therapeutic as well.
I think the thing is, then you've got like an heirloom, but you've also
Yes,
got specific memories. You can have conversations with people, and
exactly. Yes,
these are precious babies, so
yes. Oh,
designed.
absolutely. Yeah,
It's the wonderful thing
absolutely.
to
Yeah.
share.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done it with t-shirts with a friend of mine. Her husband passed away, and she asked me to. He was very much a big t-shirt fan, and this is what really started all of it because it's a different fabric to actually use to actually quilt with, and you have to do extra processes to be able to
Do you
use
have
it.
to do you have to line a
Have to
t-shirt?
interface it and line it, yeah, otherwise it'll stretch all over the place. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a couple of extra steps you do need to do, but I made a couple of lap quilts out of that one, and they've
Oh,
got photographs of where her
oh,
husband was wearing these particular t-shirts. So when their grandchildren grow up, their grandchildren grow up, they can have those conversations, say, oh look, there's that
yeah.
t-shirt that granddad was wearing.
So
So yeah.
you're still, even though you're creating and crafting, it's actually very empowering for the parents and for the
Oh,
families and for the children.
absolutely. It's that memory, and I call them memory quilts,
Yeah.
because in effect that's what they are. They are evoking all those memories. But it's also, and I like things that are practical. I can't just have trinkets and things. It has to be practical. And these are practical. They can be washed inanimate at time, loads and loads of times,
Yeah.
and still look as good and many,
Mm.
many years down the line.
Yeah. It must be difficult to cost an item like that and in
It
time
is.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
energy, etc. So yeah, so it's an investment though, isn't it? I think
Oh,
people
it
would
is a
the
huge
world for
investment in
their
that
children.
sense, but again, can you put a price on those memories?
Exactly. Yeah, it's very
No,
unique and bespoke, isn't it? That's the
it
point.
is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously, in America, I know they do a lot of quilts and things like that anyway.
yeah.
Not so much in this
Not
country,
here.
although it's
No.
no, not yet, not yet. It's coming
Well,
up,
I
I
don't
think.
know. They have tradition of women just sitting around and quilting.
Absolutely. Yeah,
They have a long tradition of that. But
absolutely.
yeah, you're way in there, and I think you're offering as a package. You when someone's just looking for some help initially with
Mm,
one situation, one problem, they don't
yes,
realize all the love and the passion and the compassion that you can give them in your
absolutely.
talents.
And then continue to offer to help them and create something unique for them, because every piece I create is unique. No two, even the blankets, they're all different. Even though they're the same pattern, they're all different.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. And of course, some of the sad parts, some children don't make it, do they? And
No.
so it's a lovely memory to have. Do you have people come later who perhaps didn't come to you for fertility treatments, who've just
Yes.
heard of you and just come with
Yeah,
sad?
I have a few that come at the end of their pregnancy,
Uh-huh.
because they potentially getting interventions that they don't want. So they seek that alternative, which I can potentially help with. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And what's your success rate? Because I think it's quite high, but you tell
It
me.
is quite a high. Yeah, it's in the 90 percentage. Yeah, it's around 93%, something like that for
Yeah,
fertility.
that's
Yeah,
amazing, isn't
which
it?
is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're well involved with the reflexology world, aren't you? With the
I
sus-
am. Yeah, I'm the area group leader for all the local reflexologists, and I have been, I think, for about 12, 14 years or so. So, yes, it's been I enjoy it, and as I say, I know lots of reflexologists in the local area, and we all have different unique things to give each person, because we're all different. We all specialize in different ways, and we all work in different ways, but I'm the only one that does the fertility. There's someone that does more sports and injuries. There's one that does more menopause. So we cover a full range of things in the local area.
That's good. That's good. So let me come back to your crafts then. Do you do exhibitions? Do you take them to craft markets, etc.?
I don't, and I did when I very first started getting back into doing. So I was always doing reflexology, but I went to a psychic fair and actually took the memory quilts with me, and that's what sort of really started it all off again. But I haven't done as yet. There may be one next Christmas that I might be doing. We're going to negotiate because I need to build up a bit more of a stock, and again, I don't want to hang on to too much because I want to be able to create and then pass it on to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because it's a different way of working, isn't it? You're working
It is.
and closely with people.
Absolutely, yeah.
To go onto the fair market and circuits, etc., is a different kettle of fish.
It's a different ball game, yeah, absolutely. So at the moment, I do have a few. I've got pink, blue, green, peach. Yeah, and I might even have a white one left. White is hard to get hold of because most people want white, but you know, all the colours are there.
Yeah. So do you
and I've got one of each.
Do you do anything for like baby's first birthday, baby's first Christmas, that kind of thing? Is that something you ventured into?
No, I haven't thought about that, but yeah, I am always open to things. I'm always creating because I'm creating different placemats for me using up lots of scrap fabric, but it's basically lots of scrap fabric that's just all sewn onto a background.
Yeah. Oh, you got tassels. You got corners.
And these are for good luck. It's actually it's called Kwandi quilting, and the Sidhu tribe in India use saris and things as the inside bit to reuse them, and nothing is wasted. And that's one of the things that I don't waste any scraps of fabric. So some of these are dresses, some of these are quilts, bits left over quilts that I've made, scrap fabric that people have given me, and then I just put it all into use it up.
That's interesting. So are you always looking for fabric for things?
Not at the moment, but yes, generally.
I've got a lot.
Yeah, I've just come back from Wales with a big bag full, so.
Oh.
But yes, so yeah, I always find something to use it with or for, and yeah, I just love it.
Yeah.
Being creative.
Has anybody ever asked you for something unusual? Whether it's baby related or not?
No, they haven't as yet. The only thing is that with the memory quilt from my friend's husband, they wanted me to make a bear out of, because one of the grandchildren was very young, so I made a bear out of one of the t-shirts that actually was then mirrored in both of the quilts for her and her daughter. So the grandson had a bear that we called it a memory bear, that she could have or he could have to cuddle and remember granddad, because there was a connection between her and him and his granddad, which was lovely.
Yeah. So how does this all make you feel, you know, regarding having a business, putting all the training and effort in, managing people, helping people, and then going off into the creative side? What's the overall feeling about your business?
I feel very honoured, and it's when I hand over something that I've created and it evokes huge emotions, it just gives me a huge thrill in my heart, that I was not able to make them cry, but make them cry in a good way, if that makes sense, because obviously what I've then done was really helpful and meaningful for them.
Yeah.
So to be able to do that and again, this one particular client, she was a client of mine, and we helped her with her son. And then she already had a little girl who I helped do this quilt for. And then obviously we went on and did the one for the son. So it's nice to see from the very, very beginning right through to the end of, obviously the end, but of giving them that's the final piece of the jigsaw, if you like, putting that quilt in their hands.
Yeah, how many, what's the most? What I'm thinking of is a lady comes to you and then she's looking for that one child. But how many is the most that you've helped one woman to achieve in terms of pregnancies? Or baby?
I am just working with one client that's coming for baby number 2. But I have had clients that have had 3 children, got with new partners, and they're coming for baby number 4
Oh,
or baby
wow.
number 3. So
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all different scenarios. All different
amazing.
scenarios.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing boring.
Nothing. No, never. You never assume anything either, because I have single women coming as well that are
Yes.
going down that IVF route and doing it on their own for
Yeah.
whatever reason. So
Yeah.
I help anyone that wants it.
Yeah. And what's the uh general approach? Where do they find you? How do they I mean, I would
Generally,
I need reflexology for a fertility problem. So how
yeah,
do
it's interesting that I'm still trying to educate people that it's available and it has a purpose and can do good. But generally it's word of mouth, or someone has thrown away a comment saying, oh, or read something, and then they look me up specifically. So obviously I have a website, which is soulfertility.com, and actually my shop is on there for the blankets as well, if anyone wants to go and check that out. But yeah, generally they'll come to me via Google, do a Google search, and then I come up, especially if they're in a fairly local area.
Lovely.
People come from a fair distance sometimes to see me,
Yes, yes, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
obviously within reason. So yeah,
Well,
with
also
what they're able.
some people don't want to be seen going to a clinic, do they? And they don't want to be other
Exactly. No,
so they want to keep it private. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Which is
Oh,
what's nice, because I do work from home, which is, again, they're not in a clinical environment. It's a much more I'd say friendly and homely place to
mm,
have a treatment that is very personal.
yes, yeah, I can appreciate that. I think that's
Mm,
quite important. Some people might not like it, but I think a lot of people
yeah,
would much
yeah,
rather see you as a friend than
exactly. Yeah,
a doctor. You know,
yeah,
somebody who's
exactly. It's the one reason where even when I'm working, I do not wear the white coats. I don't wear the overalls that most beauticians potentially will wear, because I think a lot of women, to be fair, they've seen enough of that, especially if they've been struggling and they've gone through all of those tests and what have you. They don't need that then put in their face again. So I
yeah.
just wear normal, comfortable clothes, and we have a chat, and then they experience what they experience through
Mm.
the reflexology. Yeah.
Well, it sounds lovely. And to make a pun, you've got it all wrapped up. So,
One end to the other.
yeah, that's lovely. So, congratulations on all your hard work and
Thank
congratulations
you.
on being able to offer people something else, for
Mm,
memory, comfort, for celebration, etc. So,
yeah.
thank you for sharing that with us then, Jennifer. So,
Thank you.
yeah, I'm just going to say to everyone, if you'd like to find out more about Jennifer Connelly and her fertility reflexology, you can go to soulfertility.com, and the details will be in the comments. And so I think you've been very good coming on to be interviewed so often, but you always bring such a lot of joy and a lot of interesting things. So thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
All right then, bye everyone. See you again soon.